Hey,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final Dojo Live recap of 2022, this Monday, December 19th. My name is Kim Lantis, and it's my pleasure to be joined by America Guerrero.
hello.
Hello. So, what do we do on these Monday recaps? We talk to you about our opinions and what we thought of last week's shows, and then also introduce this week's show. But today's recap is going to be a little different. We're going to start off by, yes, talking about last week's shows. Last week, we actually had two shows. On Wednesday, we had the fourth and final of our AWS series, our first AWS series. Prepare yourselves because if you liked it, there's probably more coming in 2023. And then we also got to speak with Fundica, right? So let's talk first about the AWS show with, of course, Art Chan, who was our Senior Partner Solutions Architect at Amazon Web Services. And joining us also was an Incorian, Isaac Sousa, who is DevOps and Cloud Innovation Leader. Did you get to catch that show, Ami?
Yes, I saw the last episode of this year with the AWS segment. So something that we have been learning with this segment is how with AWS you can focus on development instead of infrastructure. So with this technology and DevOps, our organizations are enabled to develop and release code cycle very rapidly. Am I right, Kim? Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
that's what I understand.
Yes, so this basically helps you to have a fresh and remote resource since the beginning when you're starting to developing. So that's what I learned.
Yeah, it's really all about DevOps. And it was a really fun show, of course, to recap everything that you kind of did very well about what we've been seeing about AWS and the benefits of cloud infrastructure, the microservices that power it. And then, of course, DevOps sort of being that mechanism that brings it all together. Isaac was able to share a lot of his story and his input as an engineer, kind of coming and growing into that. And of course, some tips on how to get started if that all feels a bit overwhelming. I think a big takeaway from that was the idea of trust the experts, right? If you want to take advantage of everything that cloud can do for you, but you don't either have the people or aren't sure of where to get started, there's lots of third party companies and partners that can help take care of that for you, which I think was a great takeaway. And then, of course, we wrapped up the week. Our final show 2022 was with Fundica. Yeah, and that was a really, really great show with Mike Lee, who is the CEO, all about democratizing access to funding and how to become a funding champion, specifically for small and medium-sized businesses and the underrepresented. What did you think of Mike's show?
I love that we touched this topic at the end of the year. I think that it gives you a sense of hope if you want to start, I don't know, an entrepreneurial project and you see that there is economic recession and you don't know how to start. So you can find information, recommendations, suggestions with them, with Fundica. And I really liked it.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed the show too. I enjoyed Mike's personal story of just sort of what led up to that and his own experience as an entrepreneur and what it meant to kind of fundraise and sort of bridging that gap and making it, yes, accessible in a way of democratizing this. And I think the specific focus here, I think it started in Canada. It's now spread including the United States, but specifically access to government funding, right? In terms of fundraising and getting started and making that easy to make sense of. It's unrelated, but it made me remember so long ago, like about 20 plus years ago when I was leaving high school and preparing to go to university and trying to figure out how am I going to pay for this and getting scholarships. And that big gap isn't necessarily obtaining the scholarship. It's even knowing which scholarships am I even able to
Accessible.
apply for, what exists, what do I qualify for. And so Fundica is basically that, but for businesses. And I think it's really, really great. And one of the things I enjoyed about his story was how once they got it all put together, they actually were like, all right, cool. What do we qualify for as Fundica? And they were able to utilize their own product to find funding for themselves. And I also really enjoyed just his hands-on real-world tips of what you need to do as an entrepreneur or a small business owner to even get started, right? Before you even come up to utilizing Fundica. Those kind of 3 steps that you need to do. I think the first one was making sure that you have a a marketable product. I think the next one was building a solid team to get started. And then the third, which is sort of a catch 22, but have some cash on hand, right? And as soon as you're sort of checking those boxes, Fundica's there for you to get that ball rolling even faster. So check out his show, of course, on our site. You can also access exactly how to utilize Fundica from there. And of course, trying to be a what's the word, a champion, right? Also, if you are a some type of an institution, right, a banking institution or the like, that you would like to have your people have access to something like Fundica, you can of course reach out to Mike for that as well. Right? So as promised, today's recap show is going to be a little bit different. And as the final recap show of the year, we've decided to bring in the entire Dojo Live team. You probably get a little sick of seeing America's and my mugs here on the show, but we're not the only ones who make this happen. So it's my pleasure to kind of introduce Ruben, Monica, and Harish, the full
Hey.
Dojo Live team. Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Hey.
You- yes. So cut them some slack, you guys. They're not used to being in front of the camera. So if they're nervous, you know why. And of course, English is a second language. Our team is quite universal. We've got Mexico, United States, and India represented here. So welcome, everyone.
Hey.
Hi everyone.
Yeah. First and foremost, thank you, team, for a great 2022. Like most teams and most companies, there's been ups, there's been downs, but we're here, and I'm so happy to work with all of you.
Oh man.
So what we
thank
decided
you.
to do, yes, what we decided to do was share our top three, each as individuals, our top three Dojo Live shows with 2022. Now, anybody want to volunteer, or do I have to be the mean teacher who just picks on someone?
I always talk with you, so I think that it will be first if someone else starts, not me.
Yeah,
All right.
it
I'm
will
going to
be
be the mean
fair.
teacher. Yeah, it'll be fair. So, Monica, you
Yeah.
spoke up. We'll go with you. So, Monica Novelo,
Okay.
she is our audience development manager. So, all that great content that you see being kicked out on social media and elsewhere, that's Moni. So, Moni, who or what were your top three Dojo Live shows this year, and a bit of why?
Of course, Kim. Yeah. Going in order, let's start with XY Retail. I think XY Retail was an amazing show because it really spoke of really relatable topics such as being, part of a minority, being part of an oppressed group also, and seeking funding and how you journey through that, yeah, you journey going through that to that funding. Uh, I think it was really interesting how the topic Susan spoke about Susan Jeffers, CEO of XY Retail, uh, really laid down that sometimes we approach this journey as, oh, I am part of this, and that's going to create biases, and I'm going to be aware of those biases. But also, I want to take those biases as a strong point for me, and I'm going to overcome them, and I'm going to prove that these biases were wrong. I am going to succeed despite them, and I'm going to change them, and how that's really standing up for a lot of
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
I did. I
actually,
enjoyed her show too. That sense of self awareness, right? I think is
yeah,
what she's saying. Who the ability to step out of yourself a bit, be self aware, and then think, what can I use for this, and what might be potentially working against me, and then how
mm,
can I, combat that? Which is a really great story.
yeah, totally. It was really an amazing show, and going back to watch it is really always like you learn something new every time. Also, I want to mention surprising things we've learned about how healthcare works with Trusty Care CEO Joseph Schneier. That was a really emotional, really interesting show because he actually opened up about the reasons he had to actually come and do this. I think right now for many people, and especially I think for our American audience, healthcare and how to better match yourself and your loved ones with the best healthcare provider
Provider.
is really really an urgent matter. Having to decipher, okay, in this county this applies, but this doesn't apply in this county, so if I move from here to there on vacation and something happens, then I'm left, unprotected in these other matters. So really the possibility to, match yourself and your life and your way of living to the best possible healthcare provider, and at the same time helping healthcare providers better help people is really just an
Exactly.
amazing, yeah, it's just
Exactly.
an amazing task
That's
to
that's
take
what I
on.
appreciated from his show, the ability to pivot, right, as trusted care.
Yeah,
Because I think the vision of what you laid out of helping individuals get access to the best care is the ultimate vision. But the mission, the way in which that actually plays out, pivoted, and it has to do more with the healthcare providers and helping
yeah.
them to find the people that they're a best fit for. And I think that's really
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, I think it's very urgent and very, very right now, and has been always a problem, and it's solving something that is really important. So I really love that. And lastly, but not least, of course, we have Sigram Pierce, CEO of Stockavly, who spoke about revolutionizing media copyright and ownership for a prosperous future on blockchain, which was just really a bunch of really complicated terms for me that first time. uh, but I think I actually came to understand. I remember like being there in backstage during that show and being actually like so interested and so into the show because he was so sure about what he was
Hmm.
speaking of, and he just looked like he cared about protecting the creators' rights and how
Exactly.
to help creators. Like myself as a content creator, I often struggle too with the idea of, okay, but you know how do you protect your art from being, let's say, copy pasted and used in a commercial or used somewhere else just because it was flying free on the internet? Well, he has a solution for that, and I think that's very a really uh, approachable and really solid solution, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And the fact that he's using blockchain technology, which all the time sounds like it's just, Bitcoin and
Crypto.
crypto and stuff, that the fact that he's opening up and saying you can actually use these to protect your rights as a creator. It doesn't have to be all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
bit encrypted and stuff. That's really amazing. And I think his overall mission and vision and everything that he's embodying in this product is really just reaching out to protect creativity, which is
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
I really value right now.
For sure. He's a great storyteller. And of course, all
Yeah,
of those like blockchain lights are like, it's a great show for you, like, oh, that's blockchain.
yeah,
That makes sense. And just to see this really spectacular use case in terms of creators and the contracts that kind of exist out there for
yeah. And
their creations.
it's such a complex like a task because he did mention that it's just thousands and thousands of contracts that are, micro periods of times that are like in the creation and the media industry are so short, like 3 months of your contract for a commercial that's going viral and it's forever on the internet. And if people are streaming that, or if resurfaces at some point, then you have to reach out to the creators and buy the license again. And that's just so complex, and just making it easier and making it stay in one place. It's just, I don't know.
Hmm.
I just really loved the way he laid everything out, and that was the reason I picked it as my third favorite show, and that's it for
Perfect.
me.
Thank you, Moni. Thank you for sharing some great insights, some great shows for sure. Let's move on to you, Harish. Harish is our guest developer, and a vast majority of the people we get to talk to on Dojo Live are all thanks to him and his hard
Thank
work.
you.
Yes, yes, a
Yeah,
hustler for every sense. We appreciate you a lot, Harish. So share with us, Harish, your top three picks of our Dojo Live shows over this past 2022.
yeah, appreciate it. So usually I say that in today's technology world, nothing is impossible. Everything is possible because each and every tech geeks are coming with new innovation ideas, and they've been predicting the market ratios and all. So everything we consider as if that we are something seeing something new in this world. So it has become so easy that one day we all can travel to Mars in no time. That's how the technology has been developed. So for these people, for all the technology geeks, I'd like to share the idea. The science has become a history to us now, because now and then the people are being coming up with innovation ideas, and that is becoming a history for us, that we are learning something new every day. Is becoming a new technology in this world. I say that technologies are unpredictable by these technology geeks, and
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is an option, an open gate for each and every technology gigs. A dojo live is open for you all to share your ideas and explore yourself. Please come in and share your ideas. Here are my three topics where I really love the area they've been coming with the new technology aspects and all. One is Mr. Vikram Chalanan. He's from Pictory AI. The main concept is message to video. So anybody can send any kind of messaging, any typing here, a message can be immediately transferred into video concept and all. In this technology world, we need those kind of stuff, right? Because any message we send to a client, a prospect, it can be converted into video. It has everything been something like a systematically arrangeable. We here everything is pick and drop messaging drops has been initialized by Vikram, and he has been nurturing this kind of technology and making much more successful to all the gigs. And it is an easier for easier even for the sales guys, where we can easily interact with the clients. So this other way, we could not be, we not want to sell any technologies to a client. This is the other way we can be giving in a video concepts, so where they can understand what exactly we are selling, or what we are developing to a client, what in which area we have been more productivity and all the stuff. This is what I really like, the way he has been done the message to video, a path for quick engagements. This is the one of the area I really like about that. And the other one is from Lawrence Cook from NanoPay. This is really a very much helpful for any kind of financial sectors. Being a small business entrepreneurs, they'll be really helpful for them. New customers, a competition between a large and small banking and all. So this NanoPay has been came up with a technology for business to business payment gateways. So this is much more valuable in today's technology world, because each and every individual can start a business, and it can be a easy gateway to interact with customers for business to business payment and liquidity management stuff. This is really one of the best competitive in this competitive world. This is one of the best solution can be achieved in the market. That is really the Lawrence watch he has been done for the current world. This really valuable thing. And the third topic is of mine is from Gil from Metadata IO. He's into more into
Yeah.
helping B2B marketers, automation, and pay campaigning. So in this, when coming down for any kind of campaigns, immediately we strike to our mind is Google, P2P, payment gateway, or any kind of those stuffs. Even Gil has been came up with an idea of building a operating system for necessary billing. So this concepts is very much important for this current market, where we can easily engage with any other doing for any kind of marketing stuff. We can market with this different CRMs can be easily do marketing stuff. This is really a value add for this in this market scenario. I really love these three shows, and willing to have more shows these kinds in the market for next year. And I was open to invite you all to be here, and you can watch me in LinkedIn. I'll be always on and off on LinkedIn. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you, Harish. I think really great shows, and I think an overarching theme in the shows that you picked is just sort of that sales and marketing reach, which obviously is extremely important to you, and the ability to, I think, play around and to try new things and to then process through that data, which is what a lot of those companies, NanoPay, and I think who did we mention there with yeah, metadata. Thank you. Great picks. Thank you, Harish.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
we're going to pick on you, Ruben. Ruben, he is our chief technologist. He's the one who's back here on the StreamYard making everything happen, running the site and all that stuff. And here I've got Zoe, the year wouldn't be complete with having an interruption of my 5-year-old, and there she goes running off. But cool, Ruben, how about you? What are your top 3 picks?
Okay, my picks are the first one is mobile messaging with Stephanie Cox. Is his her company is Lumabate. I really find very interesting. Um, we all are connected with our devices almost all day, all the week, all month. But what I found really mind blowing was the opening rate. It's really impressive. In these days, 98% open rate, and with a 45% response. It's really impressive. And the second one is the food tech, the future of digital food. Uh, this company is named Delivered, and I find really, really interesting. I mean, when technology is used for efficiency and for operational efficiency, I find that this is the future of technology, and I really like when companies do this. This company is integrating third-party food delivery systems with the POS systems restaurants for with the restaurants POS systems, in order to avoid when
Hassle to
yeah
make things easy, right? They don't have to be juggling a whole bunch of devices in their restaurants.
yeah, and that's the second one, and the third one is I really like this because it's about reusing bottles, water bottles. I live in a region of Mexico, Kim and I are living here, where the water is always a topic in the news and in the public this mind, because we are living in a desert. So I find this company very interesting, and what they're doing. Uh, right now, I think that they are testing these machines. They make machines that takes the bottle and sterilize them and wash them and refill the bottles and deliver to the users.
Yeah.
Right now, they are using these machines in workplaces and some places that that have a lot of number of people, but they're planning to deliver these machines in for the general public, and I find this technology and this company very interesting.
Yeah, I think
The
the goal
solution,
behind that one, I think you were talking about Cadea, right?
yeah,
Cadea with
Kadea,
Manuela Sonnenschein. And the
yes.
goal there is to reduce plastic. And of course, in that ways, I think also to conserve some elements of water as well, to have everything in one place and decreasing transportation. And I think also creating a consciousness of us drinking and buying, I think, only what we're actually going to be consuming, right? And not the sort of wasteful habits that we as people, I think, have kind of broken into. And I think what's interesting, Ruben, about all 3 of your picks with Cadea is also with Lumavate, the mobile messaging, as well as
Mhm.
Deliverect with Zongshu, is their stories. I remember each one of those
Yeah.
shows opening up with really personal stories about their own growth and why those products are what they're doing today is important to them. I think Zhangshu's coming from his own family, I think being restaurateurs, Stephanie's and this idea of becoming a CEO is something that she never actually aspired to do, but a lot of people kind of like, you're perfect fit for this. And she's like, really, I am, and growing into that, which is really great. And then Manuela, who's always kind of been a think green.
Traveling, that's the word.
Like even as a child, she was like always wanting to break into an environmental elements. And so really fun shows in terms of their personal stories as well.
Mhm.
Thank you. Awesome. America, your
Yeah, I
top
will
three?
go. Yeah, my top three. The one that comes to my mind is Pro Choose Motion with Sam Miller. Not because I was the host for the first time in my life. The topic was really interesting. They provide exercise machines. So if you're starting 2023 with this mentality to do exercise, this could be a really great option. They utilize technology 3D resistance. So basically, you feel like you're under the water doing the movements. So it was really cool. If you watch the show, you will see that I was smiling, but on the inside, I was screaming because I was by my own.
It was
But
my fault. An
no,
unexpected personal time off that day, and she stepped up.
I go. Yes. And the second show I have here is no, Pocket Talk, sorry, Pocket Talk with Joe Miller. They provide another device that helps you to translate conversations in real life. So this could be really helpful for business purposes, but imagine that if you are at the hospital, English is not your first language, and you want to describe with every single detail what you're feeling, and there is an emergency. So this could help you with that to feel more comfortable, more to feel calm, that the language is not going to be a barrier for you to get better. So that one I really liked. And then Anne Hand, CEO at the company Super League Gaming. I really like this show because her personality was amazing, and she shared with us that she started her professional career running gas stations, and then she did this transition with gaming. So it was like there are two worlds. There is a lot of difference, and there is a lot of learning. So don't miss the show. You won't regret it. Those are my top three, Kim.
Perfect. Thank you. And one of the things that was my takeaway, especially with Pocket Talk and a lot of shows, I think that happened to come around on Dojo Live, is all about connecting, right? It was the technology that uses it, but also the ability to connect people and tapping into our own tagline, which is tech without borders, right? Stories that bring us together. And I think that was really beautiful. So wrapping it up, my top three for 2022, I picked first up was Resilience and the Path to Achieving the Dream. That was with Daniel Daura, who is the CTO of Pebble Pebble creates essentially tracking devices, but I think what was really great about his story was the resilience piece, how he was a co-founder and co-founded this over a course of many years with full transparency while he was working at Boeing, I believe, with his friend, and they were able to develop Pebble. Unfortunately, his co-founder passed away, and he shared that very heartfelt story with us, and how he, had to kind of. There she is, Zoe again. I'm so sorry, guys. Can you hear her? Camila.
Sisterhood, I get it.
Sisterhood, motherhood, working from home. Hello. But yeah, just a really true, heartfelt story of his own and the company's, resilience and working through challenging times. And of course, a great device that's all about connecting people and how they really have differentiated themselves. I don't know. Go find her. And she's got her nose plugged because I have a candle lit and she doesn't like the way it smells. Okay, just give me a minute. Mom's busy. So here we go. I really enjoyed that show, The Device, and how they're kind of differentiating themselves in terms of accessibility, the reports and the things that they're able to do on the mobile side, which I find to be really fascinating. My second pick was Open Data and the API Economy, the Future of FinTech, with Rachel Carpenter. She's the CEO at Intrenio. Kind of in line with you, America, with Anne Hand. I found Rachel's story to be an extremely inspiring one. In terms of her entrepreneurship and this kind of bootstrap mentality of how she was able to start Intrenio, and then just the heart behind Intrenio and the data that they're compiling in order to make other fintech companies be successful in what they're doing. And I think that's just a great leap forward, and look forward to seeing a lot of things out there that say powered by Intrenio, right? And then, of course, my final third was Wi-Fi sensing, the most ubiquitous tech you might not have heard of. And that was with Spencer Maid, CCO of Origin Wireless. And what I really loved, go ahead. Oh, Sorry, I guess there was something cutting out. What I really liked about his show was a lot of the shows that we talked about was the personal story behind it, what sort of led up to this, his own mother, the need to kind of take care of older people in the home. But what's really cool about their technology is that they're taking advantage of Wi-Fi devices that we already have on hand, things like our smart TVs, our tablets, that are actually able to do a lot of this sensing without actually having to, implement all these strange, somewhat invasive feeling, sensors and other components in our home in terms of security and other things. So I thought that was a really great, interesting piece of tech, as well as the heart behind it. So those are my top 3 for 2022. Cool. And that's it. Yay, we did it. So, of course, we encourage you all to check out our top 15 picks of the year. We'll be helping, encourage that with some content that we'll be spitting out over these next 2 weeks. But everyone, thank you so much for your time, team, making 2022 a great year for Dojo Live. Everyone for joining us throughout our shows and following us. We look forward to, of course, having a great 2023. And as a reminder, we're going to be going off air this week and next week. We'll come back live again, I believe, on Monday. No, that's not true. Tuesday, the 3rd of January, we'll be kicking off with our first show of 2023. So don't miss it. We'll see you then. Thank you, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Remember to follow the Dojo Live on social media so you
Give us
don't
your
miss
do you
any.
like. Give us your do you like. Yeah. Did you like it? Okay.
Good.
Dojo like. Bye for now.
Your Dojo like. I love that. So yeah, give us your Dojo like.
See you soon.